bottle of Amaro is among the best, simplest, and if done right, most thoughtful gifts you can give someone as the holiday party season heats up. They're relatively inexpensive, under $50 in most cases. They last practically forever, and they're, crucially, not the sort of thing people think to buy for themselves, even those often inclined towards foodie trends. But more than anything else, the bottles are almost universally beautiful, so even if they never end up getting the bitter Giuseppe treatment and instead sit unopened collecting dust on display in someone's liquor cabinet, quite frankly, they're succeeding in their role as a gift. If you don't know what amari are, or is, here's a quick breakdown. The word amaro is Italian for bitter, referring to the admittedly acquired taste. Amari is plural and amaro singular. So for example, you'd say, God, I drank too many amari last night, or I'm sorry for what I said to your sister after I had that last amaro. People in the Anglosphere tend to not adhere to that rule all the time though, if you can believe it, so don't worry if you get mixed up from time to time unless you happen to be on the streets of Florence or whatever when you do it. I'll admit that when I'm drinking, I'm often guilty of neglecting the nuances of Italian grammar, among other things, so we'll have to agree to forgive one another as our relationship is built on trust. Generally, Amaro is made by infusing a neutral distillate, often but not necessarily grape, with a blend of botanicals. Think citrus peel, juniper, dried gentian root, that sort of thing. Some kind of sweetener is then added for taste, along with maybe some caramel coloring and whatever else, until you get this rich, almost syrupy liqueur that's enjoyed neat as a digestif or in a cocktail. There's technically no rules, no appellations or controlled designations of origin. All amari have their own blends, most of which are kept secret and proprietary. Their taste and usage varies in subtle but distinct ways, which maybe sounds complicated. But to me, that's also what makes them so interesting and such an asset in the gift-giving world. By now, practically everyone has a bar cart or other such home bartending setup, likely already stocked with some combination of the 5 cardinal spirits of whiskey, gin, tequila, vodka, and rum that they already know they like. The magic of the Amaro is that it's the perfect complement to any variation of someone's existing home bar setup, whether your giftee knows what they're doing or simply wants to pull off the look. For example, Amaro Nannino is the Amaro when it comes to mixing the Paper Plane, a modern classic cocktail invented right here in Chicago. It's pretty straightforward. 1 part bourbon, 1 part Aperol, 1 part lemon juice, and 1 part Amaro Nannino. Easy, right? It's equally appealing as something a novice home mixologist could get right on the first attempt, as it is a go-to favorite that would delight someone who's made cocktails for decades. Only problem is, they gotta have that bottle of Amaro Nannino, which isn't really called for in a ton of other cocktail recipes. It's $50 too, meaning they're probably standing there in the liquor store thinking, man, I don't want to spend $50 on this one bottle so I can just make this one specific drink. That's where you come in. Kick down the doors of your next holiday gift exchange with a bottle of this stuff, and the right type of giftee will be thrilled. Versatility is Amaro's greatest asset. There's an Amaro for every occasion, every mood, every vibe. I would encourage you to shop with that whimsical spirit in mind rather than a specific use case. Pick up a bottle with a label that looks interesting. Turn it over and read the back. Learn its history, whether it originated in a Ligurian monastery or from a family of pharmacists in Venice. The tiny time capsule each bottle of Amaro contains within it is part of the gift itself. A single panel of the cultural quilt we blanket ourselves in each time we engage with the world around us through food and drink. Braulio is an Amaro Alpino, which I assume means it's been aged in a barrel under the collar of a St. Bernard. Thick notes of Dalmatian oak, pine, juniper, thick wool socks, cozy pajamas. Sitting by the fire in your chalet in view of the Matterhorn. You're sipping a nice Alpine Negroni after a long day of yodeling or something. Not bad, right? Or how about Zucca Rabarbaro? I just like the name of this one, honestly. It's like saying Che Barbaro. You know, you're like a passionate Milanese Formula One driver in Monaco, and the Grand Prix is tomorrow, but you've just walked in on your wife who's a Formula One driver, and she's in bed with another man who's also a Formula One driver. You can't even look her in the eye as a single tear rolls down your face. Che Barbaro. Then you've got Sfumata Rabarbaro, which is a good option because it's one of the more modern labels you'll come across. An important consideration when you're picking out a gift that's just as much a liqueur as it is an aesthetic addition to someone's kitchen or living room. This one's got sort of a smoky, woodsy profile with the word sfumato actually translating to smoky. It's actually also a term in the art world referring to the blurred, shadowy, soft transition between colors in paintings like the Mona Lisa and other Italian portraiture, which, hey, you know, that ain't bad. You're mingling around a party, you got your bottle of sfumato, maybe you drop that little tidbit in front of a good-looking girl or guy, I don't know. Could be pretty good. That's a freebie. Thank me later.